Hello everyone, this is iVG and today I'm going to talk about the mods which I chose to include in my playthrough. So if you just go ahead and click on Content Manager and you click on Assets, Mods and Steam Workshop, that's where all the mods are located. So for the assets, I've chosen to use the Tiny Parks Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3. The reason why I chose this is because all of the other parks are either too overpowered or too big, and they kind of defeat the purpose of the whole keep it real thing. So I found out that these small parks kind of fill the gap between the default parks, which give good amount for they satisfy a good amount of needs for the size they're having. So basically you can't expect a park which is 1 by 1 square. It's just a tiny square, 1 square, that's it, to satisfy the needs of a park like the biggest park in the game. Let's say 6 by 6 or 8 by 6. I don't know what's the exact size of the biggest park, one of the default ones. But I think that guy's made quite balanced parks, and it's got 1 by 1, 2 by 2 and 2 by 1. So if you just go ahead and click on one of these. No, we can't click. Okay, view on Steam Workshop. So these are the parks which are included. That's 1 by 1. It's got some benches, some trees. It looks pretty nice in the game actually. I think it's a completely new asset. Like, it's not modded by like just placing a trees and some pathways. That's it. Like some of the parks out there. And that one's got like lamps and benches and some nice bushes and trees and all that. We click on one of the other ones, let's say park with fountain. You can see it's again something different. It's 2 by 2 size and it gives reasonable amount of satisfaction of the citizens, but it doesn't gather like 50 people in 2 squares like some of the parks do, because they provide too much for the size. So that's about it for the assets. We also got some 2 by 1 tiny park with benches. So that's how it looks. It's pretty cool. I think the guy has made an amazing job, and even though there are about maybe 2,000 parks available now, even though the game has not even been out for a month, I found out that these I just picked those and I liked it. There might be different parks which you can use in your cities, but these ones are quite balanced. Next is the mods that I've included. So these are the mods. These are default ones, top 3. So extended building information mod, extended public transport UI, all areas purchasable, automatic emptying and toggle traffic lights. And I'm going to tell you why I think these are balanced and why they don't break the gameplay like some mods do, and they don't feel like cheating. Maybe the last one, but I'll talk about this later on. So let's start with extended building information. That one you've seen in my previous 2 videos, I think. And the mod basically gives you the information of what the building needs in terms of if it needs more police, needs more transport or cargo. Also, some of the bars are wider than the others. So let's say you have offices, and the offices usually don't need cargo, they need transport. So they need to be able to get those workers from their residential areas and quickly provide some means of transport. So if you have like a small square with offices and you have 2 bus stops on each side and a metro station, that's pretty much perfect to fill the whole square. But without this mod, that it's just a guess game. So it's kind of it's not exactly realistic, but it's not unrealistic as well, because in real life you could get this information from the, if you just go ahead and ask people, what do you need in this area, they'll tell you. So I don't think that's a direct cheat or something. So as long as some bars don't work as well as others. Let's say I found out the happiness mods, the happiness tab does not respond to some of the actual happiness of the population, but whatever. You just try it out, and if you like it, you like it. So let's just go ahead and talk about the next one. It's called the Extended Public Transport UI, and it provides additional. It says it provides additional lists, views, and toggles for public transport. The mod basically gives you information for every single line you have. Let's say you click on the tab metros, and then it gives you all the available lines you built. So for every single line you can see how many car trips are saved, how many people are actually using that line, and how many vehicles has it got, and all that stuff that should be public anyway, but it doesn't. The game does not give you the information by default. Or it gives you, but you need to click on, let's say, the bus or the metro. You can't click on the metro, so that's a thing. With this mod, you can actually see how many vehicles are using the line and what's their let's say success rate in that particular line. So you can make your own decisions if you want to increase or make another, or merge lines or separate them or something. So I think that's a good mod, and it gives you, it doesn't cheat or anything. It just it's just a complementary mod to what the game offers as a transport UI. Next thing is the whole area purchasable. It's just self-explanatory in my opinion. It gives you ability to purchase all the 25 areas instead of just 9. So I don't think you should be limited by the area you want to build on. If the game has 25 areas, why not use them? If you have issues with performance, or you have your CPU is not good enough, or maybe your GPU, or you have very high RAM usage and you don't have enough RAM in your system, then you decide how much you want to expand. Why would anyone want to be limited by the game and what it offers? So it's not SimCity, like you have a tiny small square and you just try to make use of all the little areas that are left blank just to fill the entire city in one single square. So I think this is a good mod. It gives you a lot of possibilities. I mean, you can build highways if you want. You can connect distant parts of the city, even though you've not exactly put everything together in tiny packed town. You can build you can build your farms in a separate area and just connect them through the city, or through a highway which goes around the city. It's your choice. So it's one of the top 3 mods maybe, I think, now on the Steam Workshop. So worth taking a look. Next one is automatic emptying. This mod I found today and I quite liked it, because once you reach about 40,000-50,000 people in your city, and you kind of forget when to empty the buildings, and which should be automatic anyway. Like, which company or which truck will just stop filling a landfill because the landfill is filled and everybody forgets to empty it for some reason? I mean, these kind of things never happen in real life, so they shouldn't be. I like the micromanagement. Let's say you have, in the first 10,000 people, you kind of have a tight budget, and you have to you have to micromanage everything and make sure you don't, let's say, put just 10 landfills just for the sake of having enough of them. They cost too much money for the time, and you need to kind of switch between 2 or 3, empty one while the other 2 are operational, and stuff like this. In this mod, every building that's being filled up, like the landfill or the graveyard, the cemetery, they automatically empty as soon as they reach 100%, I think. So that's also a good mod for the large cities, but I would stay away from it if my city is less than 10,000, 15,000, because you lose that kind of gameplay element, let's say, in the beginning, where you have to micromanage, as I said. Right, enough of automatic emptying, and let's go ahead and talk about toggle traffic lights. That's a mod which I found today, and as soon as I saw the headline of the mod, I immediately clicked subscribe to the Steam Workshop. I had to download it and try it out, and it definitely works. There are some issues, but it's not something game breaking, and then in the latest update I think the guy updated the mod so it's only limited to road junctions, and it doesn't affect the railway in any way, as previously was breaking the railway. So I have no idea, but it's fixed now, so it should be alright. And let's go ahead and just load up the city, and I'll show you what I'm talking about regarding the traffic lights. It's pretty cool, especially in those junctions where you plan them and then you suddenly the game just puts a random traffic light and you're like, oh, for God's sake, why? How can I do this? So that's our city, and I'm just gonna go ahead and talk for 5 seconds what I've done in the meantime between the episodes. I've expanded this area, made some ramps here and here. Also, I have my metropolis, 60,000 people. That was unexpected. Anyway, we'll go ahead and place all these in the next episode. I want to keep it short so you don't kind of lose your time if you don't want to watch the actual gameplay. I'm just gonna talk about the mod. And the perfect example is this junction over here. As you remember, when I placed it, there was a traffic light here and a traffic light here. And what I've done is I just enabled the mod, and if you click on the roads, you can see this tiny traffic light icon. And if you click on the icon, it shows you traffic lights false. So if you want to switch back the traffic lights on, just click left click and it says traffic lights true, and you can see the traffic lights as they were before, same as here. So all these guys coming here, let me unpause it, and you'll see all the cars just stop. Like that was green, but yeah, now it's green, but if it's red, all the cars stop, even though there will be no one coming on these ramps or coming off. Come on, let me just showcase this. Nope. Whatever then. You just have to believe me, it's red now. There you go, it stops. Let me just pause the game again, and you can see these guys are waiting because it's red here now. And if you go ahead and click on traffic lights false, you can see these guys immediately turning. So that's, in real life, that equals to the stop sign. So it's not something that breaks the game or allows some kind of cheating. It just changes the rules of traffic, which is perfectly legitimate and true to life, as in some junctions it's better to have traffic lights because of the large amount of cars coming through. In some junctions where it's not that busy and a traffic light would only stop cars which are not actually waiting for anyone, but they have to obey the rules, so they'll stop. And that's another example here as well. I had this kind of shortcut, and you can see it's kind of bunched up now. because I recently made it and the traffic's not settled yet. But you can see there is no traffic lights, as previously was just on truce, and all the traffic coming through this road, like you see all these cars, they were bunched up all the way to somewhere over here. Everything was a huge hold up. So that simple thing just solves half the problems. Not the entire problem, but at least it solves the problem. Another thing that I've done is made this road a one-way, so there's no traffic lights as well, and cars don't stop waiting for these guys to come over. And you can see the traffic. It's much better than it was. You can't see it because when I downloaded the mod I wasn't recording, but you can see the hold up on this side as well. A lot of work still to be done on these junctions here. I can maybe lift this highway and make it kind of a highway through the city, so all the guys can jump on and off. But that's for another episode, and this just a short showcase of my mods, and quite useful, I think, from the guys which are starting now with City Skylines. I was gonna say SimCity, but no, please stay with City Skylines, because all these mods are gonna make the game huge. I mean, it's already huge, but all these little things that are not entirely thought through from the developers are made possible by the modding community, and I've always been a huge fan of modding. Not myself, but using mods, and I think a game can only benefit from being moddable. And I despise those developers who say, and they say nope, no modding, nothing, and they just lock their games and make it impossible for people like these clever guys who made all these mods. And thanks to them, and to Paradox, and to all the publishers of these games who make these kind of things possible and make their game kind of not open source entirely, but completely moddable. They make my day, basically. All of my games that I'm a huge fan of are heavily moddable. Let's say Skyrim, cities, some racing games like, let's say, Assetto Corsa. And that's gonna be it. I'm just gonna keep it short, and see you guys in the next one.